The Edit, brought to you by Glam Doll, bringing Hollywood home.
Hello and welcome to The Edit with me, Lisa Cannon. We are back here in our Glam Doll studios bringing Hollywood home. Each and every week we focus on films, fashion and entertainment. And this week we're kicking off with an exclusive chat with designer to the stars, Eamonn McGill.
It always happens every year before the Gossip Awards or the Style Awards. She comes to me about 3 days beforehand. She's like, so have we decided yet?
Three
like,
days?
What are we doing?
Sorry,
So
did I
all
hear
through
that
the
right in
process,
my
like-
earpod? We'll also be back on the sofa chatting with our resident film critic, Gordon Hayden, about what's coming down the track movie-wise. Like the latest from the Fast and Furious team, who are back with their 9th entry. But this time, there's no Dwayne Johnson. Is the end in sight for the series? Well, to whet your appetite, let's take a look at some of the trailer.
All right, Dom, what's next?
No matter how fast you are, no one outruns their past. And mine just caught up to me.
Been a long time, Dom.
Who is he?
Jacob is Dom's brother. Tell me you're not thinking what I think you're thinking. There's no bridge!
Oh, hell no.
Wow, woo wee woo. Gordon, we're into number 9, Fast and Furious. How did it get this far?
It has been such I'd be honest with you, it's a massive hit, but a surprise one at that.
Totally.
Because it originally started out as almost like a petrol-head version of Point Break. And because it is very much the same story as Point Break, but just fashioned around illegal car racing.
Well spotted, that's true.
And then Vin Diesel decided, enough is enough. I think I've made a name for myself now. I'll go off and do my own stuff. So he didn't come back for the sequel, but the studio, Universal Pictures, decided to plough on with Paul Walker, the late Paul Walker. Second film had a bit of a tepid response because it really was the chemistry between Paul Walker and Vin Diesel that made it. The third film, no Paul Walker. They used a guy by the name of Lucas Black, who has about as much personality as a shovel. And then... But what got people intrigued was Vin Diesel popped up at the end as a cameo.
Right.
Because Vin Diesel's career didn't take off the way he had hoped. He was expecting he'd go off and make all these projects and everything would just turn to gold, and it didn't. And I think he realised, I need to get back to the well. And that's what he did when he showed up as a cameo at the end. And then it made viewers go, oh, he's coming back. And he did. And he came back for the 4th film. And it was the shot in the arm the series needed. But then, come the 5th film, franchise Viagra himself shows up, Dwayne Johnson.
I love Dwayne
And then
Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson, suddenly now we've got these 2 big meatheads at either side, Dwayne and Vin. And they played out like a real life soap opera behind the scenes.
That's
because
right.
the 2 of them
Tell us about that.
got... It was almost like, I'm the
was loads of problems,
I'm the
wasn't
real
there?
alpha on this set. And Vin Diesel was kind of like, I think you'll find that, no, this is my series. And Dwayne was like, I think you'll find if it wasn't for me, this series would be dead and buried. But I think they worked together. It was like the 8th film is when it really, tensions really boiled over. And The Rock had posted a piece on Instagram slating a particular
dirty catfights,
member of the cast, and I think everyone went, I think he's talking about Vin Diesel. So there is no Dwayne Johnson in this 9th film, but what Vin has done is he's replaced him with John Cena. Not like in replacing him in terms of the same character, it's a different character altogether, but John Cena's been brought in, and John Cena's been working his way now, and so I'd say he's delighted to be part of this series. But then Dwayne's had his spin-off with Hobbs and Shaw. So, do you know what? They're like a pair of L ones, behind the scenes. Handbags at dawn given out. But anyway, I believe that there is going to be 10 films all in
no.
all. So
There can't be any more.
There's going to be one more, and I would not be surprised if Dwayne The Rock Johnson returns for that final film. I wouldn't be surprised. But
what can they do with it? What can they do any more 10 times in?
Send them into space now. I think that's the last thing they can really... Like, they were being chased by a submarine in the 8th film.
I remember that,
it has gone from, as I said, Point Break, the petrolhead version, illegal drag racing on the streets of LA, to being chased by a submarine. Just let that settle in. Being chased by a submarine. Now, it has become a live-action cartoon where physics are out the window. But it is a real guilty pleasure, and I think people have bought into the characters, and I do find it a guilty pleasure. Like, it's like Mission Impossible, which we're going to talk about in a moment. Like, this is one of those series that as it goes on, it should get worse. Because normally, as sequels go on, they tend to be diluted. Yeah. But with Fast and Furious, it has gotten into the best, it's gotten quite good as the sequels have gone on, and it's sort of found its groove. The 5th film is still the best. It's the pick of the litter. The 9th one, it looks atrocious, but I'll still go and see it.
Oh, terrible, Gordon, terrible. I wouldn't even entertain that as I look down you my snobby nose. Let's move on to something else that I think everyone's going to love. And please God, it'll be a good one this time. Mission Impossible.
Well, Tom Cruise, I think he's a man under pressure. Because he lost the plot there, as you heard, with the crew members who did not follow COVID guidelines. He went bananas on set. Yeah. Because there was a couple of guys that were huddled around a monitor or a laptop, and they weren't, I presume they weren't wearing masks or anything like that. And so he went ballistic. And so if anyone did anything like that again, they were gone. And then a number of crew members left. They were like, I won't have him talk to me like that. And so they left. But I think he's a man that is just really just suffering with the weight of expectation and just how difficult it is, because he's also the producer. And so he is trying to make these 2 massive films back to back with all the COVID restrictions. And these are not small, intimate kitchen sink dramas. No. These are huge, big international films that require huge stunts that has all got to be reorganized and changed in order to fit with all things COVID. So it is a huge task for him. And I think he was a man at the end of his tether. And it just showed with that leaked audio. So Mission Impossible 7, I'm excited to see it because the 6th film was really good. Yeah, Henry Cavill was in the 6th one, and normally I just think that fella's a walking mannequin, and he actually was probably the best thing in it. Well, not to say the best thing, like he was the best thing he's done, I should say. The best thing he's done.
Yes.
But it was great. Christopher McQuarrie returned, who helmed Rogue Nation. Christopher McQuarrie is an excellent screenwriter, and himself and Tom Cruise, they've developed a strong partnership. And Cruise has used him on script writing duties on the new Top Gun movie and Edge of Tomorrow. And he's brought him in when he's ever needed a script doctor on some of his movies, even like The Mummy. But anyway, Mission Impossible 7, I'm looking forward to it. The gang are back. Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames, they're back too. So if it's as good as Fallout, I'll be delighted.
I'll share your popcorn on that one, definitely, because I'm looking forward to that.
2 meters apart.
2 meters apart. 2 meters apart. 2 meters apart. Right, let's move on. What else is coming down the track for us?
So, a filmmaker that I really like, who had a bit of a bad patch during his career, was M. Night Shyamalan, who it was around his 2nd or 3rd film he made, The Sixth Sense. Everyone thinks The Sixth Sense is his first film, but it wasn't. I think it was his 3rd. But it's the film that everyone feels his career started, of course. It was a massive hit when it came out in the late 90s, and it had one of the all-time great twist endings. And then M. Night Shyamalan thought, this is what people want, these supernatural thrillers from me, but they also have to have a twist ending. And he did the same thing with Unbreakable. He did the same thing with Signs. By the time The Village came out, everyone wasn't really... I hate to say it, I remember being at a screening for it, and everyone was nearly playing detective. Waiting for what is the twist, and they're already trying to be a step ahead. So you weren't allowing the film to just get soaked up in it. And that was the big problem. And even though it was successful, The Village, I think a lot of people came away going, okay, the game is up.
Totally.
I'm fed up with this shtick now. And so M. Night Shyamalan tried to do other things. And some of it, Lisa, if you can remember, was terrible. He made The Last Airbender. He couldn't use the original title of the cartoon series because he made a live-action version, Avatar, because James Cameron had gotten in with his one first. He then followed up with After Earth with Will Smith and his son, who thankfully now has stopped acting, which was one of the best career pieces of advice he was ever given. Stop acting. After Earth, disaster. He just had a string of disappointments, M. Night Shyamalan, but then he put all his money, well, not all his money, but a lot of his own money into making a film called The Visit. And it was a found footage film, and he worked with a man by the name of Jason Blum, who's this huge horror producer. And he now has found his groove again. And he's had huge success. So I'm going all around the houses to say that M. Night Shyamalan has a new movie out called Old. And we know very little about it, but it's going to be like a supernatural sci-fi thriller. He basically now knows this is the my box I need to stay in. This is my lane, essentially. I need to stay in. I'm going to stay in that lane. I make them reasonably cheap. And by doing it that way, he has more creative control, and he basically has his own say. So normally now, M. Night Shyamalan, his films will clock in with around $8 to $10 million in terms of the budget, but then they yield a massive return. So that's the way he's working, and so I'm intrigued to see how things are going to play with Old. It looks like it has shades of Soylent Green, if people remember that old Charlton Heston movie. So again, it remains to be seen, but that's one to definitely have on your radar.
Thanks, Gordon, for all of that. Plenty to choose from, please God, in the coming months ahead. Well, now it is over to fashion. And one such designer is Eamonn McGill, who after only 3 years has built up his brand, which has seen his designs on the likes of Love Islanders, Maura Higgins and Molly May Hague, plus over in the US at the Oscars and the Globes. Not bad for a young graduate of fashion school. Eamonn has brought out a brand new underwear line for us ladies to help with structure and poise for underneath our clothes. But before we chat to Eamonn, let's take a look at his new collection. Wow, Eamonn, your collection is gorgeous. It's sucking us all in the right places. Welcome to the edit. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm delighted with the collection. It's designed for every size and shape, so I'm really happy that you like it.
Yeah, it's great. Now, the thing is, obviously, when it comes to underwear, women and men, we're also specific because it's to do with our shape and our size. How do you do that as a designer? Because obviously you're kind of, well, the work I'm familiar with is the beautiful structured dresses and the glamour and the gunas and the gowns. So to kind of pare it all back, literally strip us down to our smalls, was that something you were thinking about for a while, or is it just that you've looked at dresses and gone, I need better underwear, this is disaster?
To be honest, it's a mix of both. I've wanted to launch an underwear collection for about 1.5 years now, and it's always something I put on the back burner, and it's like, oh, you know what, it's not the right time, it's not the right time, it's not the right time. And I always find it really hard to struggle when I'm like dealing with clients with underwear. But I feel like every girl should feel sexy in underwear no matter what. Let it be just a comfort cotton set that we do. But the designs behind these ones are just for comfort loungewear. They're not bed on, they're not supposed to be uncomfortable. They have the design in the knickers so that you don't have knicker lines when you wear them with dresses or with jeans. Like, it's to show off your curves in the best possible way and to feel comfortable with it as well. I really wanted to push size inclusivity. I feel like it's something that is lacking in Irish brands and lacking in all brands, really. I wanted to do from a size 6 to a size 22 and make every girl feel just as comfortable from a size 6 to a size 22 in this underwear. Now, we've only launched 2 styles, and we've even done a style with a cutout just across the bosom, just to give it a little bit more like sex appeal for like maybe if you want to wear that for the evening time and stuff. But it's more about like, you should feel comfortable in any size, any shape. And the fact is that this is only the start for us. We want to do so many different more things with this. Like, we want it to be the next Spanx, we want it to be the next Skims. Like, this is just a starting point. So that's what we're hoping for anyway.
At the moment, you know, you have so many women that wear your clothes, all our Love Island friends, Maura Higgins, should I say. Where else have you been in the world of celebrity? I mean, Maura's only one of them. There's so many out there that you're dressing. And how does that all work, Eamonn?
Yeah, I'm very blessed. I started my company 3 years ago, and I started dressing. When I was in college, I started dressing a few red carpet celebrities like Nadia Ford and Holly Carpenter. I went to college with Holly, so it was kind of my step into getting into the red carpet side of things. Yeah. And then I just kind of developed and beckoned. I went to New York and worked in Marquesa for a year and came back, and I was like, you know what, I want to set up my own company. I was very blessed to dress Amanda Byram for the IFTAs, and then from there kind of just skyrocketed, and then I started my company doing evening wear and started to like slowly get the clientele up and up. Luckily this year I got signed to an agency in the UK that deals with all my red carpet stuff, and so they've been really pushing me before the pandemic, so I was very blessed to get that. But yeah, it kind of just happens. I'm very like, I'm lucky in a sense. A lot of it comes from Instagram for me. I think because we've slowly built the brand through Instagram, that it kind of shows off that way and people know what they're going to get. They're going to get that glam moment. I have been very lucky as well dealing with Irish personalities in the sense where we've got the Style Awards, we've got certain awards in Ireland that I get to dress these people. And like, we don't really have a lot of glam events. We've got like 2 or 3 a year. So people want to go glam. We're Irish gals, love a bit of glam. So they do tend to go all out. Yeah, me and Holly have known each other for a very long time, and it always happens every year before the Goss Awards or the Style Awards. She comes to me about 3 days beforehand. She's like, "So have we decided yet?"
3
like,
days?
What are we doing?
Sorry, did I hear that right in my earpod? 3 days.
We made Holly's we made Holly's purple dress. And I think it was 6 days, but it's usually like a week before 3 days. Always like she changed her mind last minute, or something happens that we kind of like go completely AWOL. But we were gonna go for something like a simple black jumpsuit. And then she was like, "Do you know what? Let's just go big." And I was like, "How big?" And she was like, "Big." And I was like, "John Batista Valley big?" And she was like, "Let's just go big." So like we made that lilac dress, and like, yeah, it was a statement. Like, and I love the story behind it. Like, Holly wore 8-inch platform shoes underneath it because the dress was so big. We wanted her to be a tyrant. So I'm 6 foot and Holly's 5'10". So I'm always taller than her in photos. But like, I looked like a small child holding her hand because she was so tall on the red carpet. So like, yeah, I do like those moments. I believe that she should always go big or go home.
Wow. Do you get the same response from somebody like Maura Higgins, who now, of course, is a huge star in the UK now, so she can wear whatever she wants, but yet she still is drawn back to you an awful lot, which is so lovely for big award ceremonies in the UK.
Yeah, I was the first person to dress Maura for red carpet ever. She was one of the nicest clients I've had. She's an absolute doll. We had fittings before. We had 2 fittings beforehand. I had one the day show and the late show. I had her fitting that day, and then I think the awards was the week after. So I flew over with the dress and done the last alterations in her house with her. She's a lovely girl. I can't say anything about it more. She's a sweetheart, and I've been very lucky to work with her. It led to bigger opportunities as well over in the UK, working with some reality stars like Bonnie May, Georgia Steele. So I'm happy. Like, it's been great. She's a doll.
Best of luck, and we will see you very, very soon. Please God on the red carpet as well. And you can see the full collection from Eamonn McGill at eamonnmcgilldesign.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe to The Edit. You can catch the show on thestyleedit.com, lisacannon.ie and glamdoll.ie. Well, thanks very much for watching over the last few weeks. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing your weekly dose of film, fashion and entertainment with exclusive interviews. So for me, Lisa Cannon, and all of us here on The Edit, we look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
The Edit, brought to you by Glam Doll, bringing Hollywood home.